Hey Cowboys Nation, today we need to talk about what has been going on with the team after that win over the Jets. And honestly, there's a lot more to unpack than just the final score. On paper, a victory against a struggling team might seem like business as usual, but the way the Cowboys approach this game shows some encouraging signs. First off, Brian Schottenheimer's work as head coach and play caller deserves attention. It's only 5 games into the season, so let's not go overboard, but the way he's blending Dak Prescott's strengths and weaknesses into the offensive game plan is noticeable. There's more rhythm, more creativity in the way the team moves the ball, and while there's still moments where a play or two feels overly cautious, it's a stark improvement over some of the limitations we saw under previous regimes. The offensive line doesn't collapse at the first sign of pressure anymore, and the team maintains cohesion even when facing minor setbacks during the game. There's still room to be more aggressive in certain situations, especially on fourth downs, but what we're seeing so far is promising and gives fans reasons to feel cautiously optimistic about the direction of the offense. Now, looking at individual performances, the offense has some standouts. The running game, in particular, has shown flashes of creativity and efficiency that were missing last season. Play-action setups are being executed more cleanly, and the integration of key skill players is smoother than it's been in years. Dak Prescott looks more comfortable making reads, and there's a sense that the coaching staff is finally tailoring the game plan to the quarterback style rather than forcing him into rigid structures. You can see it in the tempo of the game, the balance between run and pass, and the way receivers are getting open at critical moments. Ryan Fennoy, for instance, had a breakout type of performance, showing explosiveness and athleticism that adds another layer to the passing attack. He's a player who can stretch the field, make defenders pay for mistakes, and give Prescott a reliable target in high-pressure situations. The trust shown by the quarterback and coaching staff in Fennoy was evident, and his performance was a reminder that depth at wide receiver matters as much as star power on the outside. Meanwhile, veterans like Jalen Tolbert continue to contribute in less flashy but equally important ways, handling blocking assignments and special teams duties that keep the overall system functioning smoothly. The combination of Fennoy's explosiveness and Tolbert's reliability gives the Cowboys flexibility to adapt to different game situations, which is something that hasn't been consistently present in past seasons. Switching over to the defense, there's a lot to digest here as well. Beating the Jets was expected given the talent gap, but there were signs that defensive adjustments are starting to click. Matty Rayfuss has implemented a variety of coverages and blitz packages, mixing man coverage with well-timed pressures that disrupted the opposing quarterback at key moments. Players like Dante Fowler and James Houston made significant impacts as situational pass rushers, showing the ability to penetrate gaps and force hurried throws. Shamar James had an active presence around the ball, even as some of the high tackle numbers came during garbage time or softer coverage schemes. The rotation in the secondary, including Diggs, Bland, and Elim, allowed the defense to stay fresh while still maintaining pressure and coverage integrity. It's not perfect, and the Jets' lack of offensive firepower makes it hard to gauge true improvement. But at least the Cowboys are moving in the right direction, learning to play more dynamically and avoiding some of the lapses that have plagued them in the past. There's also the offensive line situation, which has been a point of discussion. Nathan Thomas got meaningful snaps and showed that he can handle responsibilities without drastically altering the flow of the game. Comparing him to Tyler Gayton, the performance difference wasn't dramatic, which speaks volumes about the depth and readiness of the position group. TJ Bass continues to be a rock at his spot, performing at a high level and providing stability that allows the rest of the line to function effectively. The balance between veteran experience and rookie potential gives the team options as the season progresses, and while there are still improvements to be made, the early signs suggest that the line is not a liability the way it sometimes has been. From a strategic perspective, Schottenheimer is making calculated decisions that favor team cohesion and gradual improvement rather than chasing immediate, flashy results. There's still conservatism in certain situations, especially when it comes to fourth downs, but the willingness to adapt in real time during games is a positive departure from past approaches. The integration of young talent like Fenoy and Thomas shows a coaching staff thinking long-term, while still finding ways to leverage the strengths of established players like Prescott, Tolbert, and Bass. The running game is not only more effective, but also opens up play-action opportunities that put pressure on defenses to respect multiple threats. This multidimensional attack makes the Cowboys harder to predict and forces opponents to respect both the ground game and a vertical passing game. Looking at upcoming matchups, the schedule is about to get more challenging, and that will be the true test of how far these improvements go. Carolina presents the next hurdle, and while they are beatable, they will force the Cowboys to execute consistently. Following that, games against playoff-aspiring teams like Washington, Denver, and Kansas City will test the adaptability and resilience of the team. Arizona is shaky but still capable of surprising, and later in the season, matchups with elite teams in the NFC will demand peak performance. The key takeaway is that while the Jets game is a positive step, it is not a definitive measure of the Cowboys' strength. Wins over weaker opponents are expected, but they also provide opportunities to fine-tune rotations, experiment with player combinations, and prepare for the more intense battles that will define the playoff race. There are also subtle aspects of player performance worth noting. Fenoy's versatility as a receiver, whether stretching the field, running reverses, or contributing in short yardage situations, adds dimension to the offense. Tolbert's willingness to do the dirty work in blocking and special teams ensures that depth players are contributing meaningfully. On defense, young linebackers like James provide athleticism and coverage potential that can grow into more consistent production as the season progresses. The balance between proven veterans and emerging talent gives the Cowboys a dynamic feel, and the early signs suggest that team culture is trending positively. The important takeaway here is that progress is being made in multiple areas, from coaching strategy and offensive efficiency to defensive adaptability and player development. Schottenheimer is not perfect, and there will be growing pains, but the adjustments we've seen show a team that is starting to understand its identity and leverage its strengths more effectively. Diving deeper into the Cowboys' offensive dynamics, there are several key developments worth highlighting. The chemistry between Dak Prescott and his receivers seems to be evolving into something more fluid than we've seen in previous seasons. Beyond the obvious contributions from the stars, it's the supporting cast that's starting to make a noticeable difference. Ryan Fenoy has emerged as a player who can stretch the defense vertically, creating lanes and opportunities not just for himself, but for everyone on the field. His ability to make quick reads, adjust routes on the fly, and capitalize on defensive lapses has added a level of unpredictability to the passing attack. This, combined with the steadiness of players like CeeDee Lamb and the situational reliability of Jalen Tolbert, allows Prescott to spread the ball efficiently and keep defenses guessing. The balance between explosive plays and methodical drives is critical, and so far, Schottenheimer seems to be finding a rhythm that accommodates both approaches without leaning too heavily on one at the expense of the other. In the backfield, the running game is slowly taking on a more versatile identity. Clayton Adams, in particular, has shown glimpses of the type of runner who can not only gain consistent yardage on standard carries, but also contribute effectively in play-action scenarios. This dual-threat capability forces defenses to respect multiple possibilities on each play, opening up space for Prescott and the receivers to exploit. The offensive line's improved performance has been a huge factor here. While there are still moments where defensive pressure sneaks through, the group as a whole is holding up far better than in previous years. Nathan Thomas and Tyler Gayton have both shown they can execute their assignments at a level that doesn't disrupt the flow of the offense. And TJ Bass continues to anchor the line with a combination of technique and awareness that stabilizes the entire unit. The result is a more cohesive attack that can adapt mid-game and maintain efficiency even under pressure. The passing game is benefiting not only from the increased depth at receiver, but also from smarter play calling that leverages matchups effectively. Prescott is now able to make decisions without being forced into unnecessary risks, and the offensive scheme prioritizes exploiting weaknesses in coverage rather than relying solely on individual heroics. Fanoy's performance against the Jets exemplified this approach. Multiple targets, high yards after catch, and consistent involvement throughout the game. Even in situations where the line of scrimmage was contested, Prescott's mobility, combined with Fanoy's route adjustments, created opportunities that would have been difficult to replicate in prior seasons. It's not just about making big plays, but creating a consistent threat that keeps defenses off balance. When a team can force opponents to defend both the run and the pass effectively, the offense becomes less predictable and far more difficult to contain over the course of an entire game. Defensively, there's been a subtle but noticeable improvement as well. While the Jets may not have presented the most challenging opponent, the defensive adjustments under Matty Rayfuss have allowed the team to display more versatility and situational awareness. Pressure packages are being deployed more intelligently, mixing blitzes and coverage in ways that force quarterbacks into hurried decisions. Dante Fowler and James Houston continue to provide situational pass rush that disrupts timing and opens opportunities for the secondary. Shamar James' activity around the football, particularly in pursuit and tackling, shows a level of athleticism and awareness that can be built upon for tougher matchups. The defensive line rotation and the deployment of different fronts have started to create more balanced pressure. And even though consistency is still a concern, the framework for improvement is clearly there. Players are beginning to understand their roles and execute them in ways that make the defense more cohesive and resilient. The secondary, in particular, has benefited from these rotations and scheme adjustments. By mixing coverage schemes and providing additional support from the linebackers, the Cowboys are starting to prevent the type of breakdowns that allowed big plays in previous seasons. Diggs, Bland, and Aleem have been rotated effectively to keep fresh legs on the field, which is crucial late in games, and these rotations allow the team to deploy situational pressures without sacrificing coverage integrity. While the Jets were a manageable opponent, the foundational changes and player development being put into practice here will be critical as the team faces stronger offenses. The defensive unit is gradually transitioning from a reactive group into one capable of dictating terms and adjusting mid-drive, which is exactly the type of growth needed for playoff-level competition. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In what could be one of the most talked about moves of the NFL offseason, whispers are swirling around the Dallas Cowboys camp after the team reportedly announced the signing of wide receiver Brandon AIYUK. While the official channels have been buzzing with statements of confidence, insiders hint at a strategy that could shake up the Cowboys' offensive game, plan in-mall openings into explosive plays. With Dallas' quarterback situation showing flashes of brilliance but still craving consistency, the addition of a dynamic receiver like AIYUK could be the missing puzzle piece to ignite the passing game. Observers have been quick to speculate. Could this mean more vertical threats, more creative play calling, and a shift toward a faster, unpredictable offense that keeps defenses on their toes? Fans and analysts alike are buzzing over how quickly AIYUK might integrate into the lineup. Some insiders suggest he could immediately line up as a starter, while others speculate that his presence alone forces defensive coordinators around the league to rethink their schemes. The Cowboys front office, meanwhile, is reportedly thrilled with the potential marketing and fan engagement this signing brings. A star receiver who not only delivers on the field, but also energizes the locker room. Of course, skeptics are cautioning that hype doesn't always translate into instant success. Adjusting to a new system, building chemistry with the quarterback, and navigating the notoriously tough NFC East defenses are all hurdles that could temper expectations. Yet, the prevailing rumor remains: Brandon AIYUK in Dallas isn't just another signing. It's a signal of ambition, a hint that the Cowboys may be ready to make a statement in the coming season. And as whispers turn into chatter, one thing is certain: NFL fans are watching, and the Cowboys' offensive blueprint may never look the same again. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.